Welcome to all. Today we discuss the topic number 8 and 9 is the plant production through indigenous traditional knowledge. So what is the indigenous knowledge? It is the local or indigenous knowledge refers to the cumulative and complex bodies of knowledge, know-how, practice and representation that are maintained and developed by the local communities who have a long histories of interaction with the natural environment. So indigenous knowledge is the broadly speaking the knowledge used by the local people to make the living particular environment. It can be defined as a body of knowledge built up by the group of people through the generation of living in close contact with nature. So indigenous traditional knowledge, first one we see the indigenous knowledge is the knowledge of their temporal or social space. So indigenous knowledge as such refers not only to the knowledge of indigenous people but to that of any other defined community. Then indigenous traditional knowledge. So ITK is the indigenous traditional knowledge is specifically concerned with the actual application of and thinking of the local people in various operation of agriculture and allied areas. So next point is the characteristics of ITK. So first character is the ITK is a not static but dynamic. Exogenous knowledge and endogenous creativity brings change to ITK. ITK is the initiative in its a mode of thinking and ITK is a mainly qualitative in nature. ITK study needs a holistic approach. ITK is properly tapped and can provide a valuable insight into resources, process, possibilities and problems in a particular areas. ITK is recorded and transferred through the oral tradition. ITK is learned through the observation and hand-to-hand experience. ITK forms an information based for the variety. ITK reflects the local tradition. So next one we see the difference of traditional knowledge and scientific knowledge. तर ट्रॅडिशनल नॉलेज अँड सायंटिफिक नॉलेजमधला फरक आपण बघणार आहोत. सर ट्रॅडिशनल नॉलेज इज द ऑल पार्ट्स ऑफ द नॅचरल वर्ल्ड आर रिगार्डेड ॲज अ ॲनिमेट or a living form. All life form are independent. And a scientific system, human life is generally regarded as a superior with the moral right to control other life form. Knowledge is a traditional knowledge मध्ये बघा, knowledge is transmitted largely through the oral media. Okay, and a scientific system, knowledge is transmitted largely through the written word. Then in traditional knowledge, knowledge is developed and acquired through the observation and practical experience. And in scientific system, knowledge is generally learned in a situation which is remote from its applied context. And in a traditional knowledge, knowledge is a holistic, initiative and qualitative and practical. Okay. But in a scientific system, knowledge is essentially reductionist, quantitative, analytical and theoretical. And in a traditional knowledge, knowledge is generated by the resource users in a diachronic, is a long-term scale. And in scientific system, knowledge is generated largely by the specialist researchers on a synchronic time scale, means a short-term scale. And traditional knowledge system, the nature and status of a particular knowledge is influenced by the socio-cultural factors such as spiritual beliefs and is communally held. And in scientific system, the nature and status of a particular knowledge is influenced by the peer review and is held by the individual specialist. In a traditional knowledge system, explanation behind the perceived phenomenon are often spiritually based on a subjective, and in a scientific system, the explanation behind the perceived phenomenon are essentially rational and objective. Then last point in traditional knowledge is the knowledge is used to make the suitable decision under the variable condition, and in scientific system knowledge is used to put the forward a hypothesis and to verify underlying laws and constants. So next one we see the crop wise indigenous traditional knowledge. So first we discuss the rice crop. तर राईस क्रॉपमध्ये इंडिजिनियस ट्रॅडिशनल नॉलेज आपण बघणार आहोत. ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ पॅडी सीड्स इन अ डायल्युटेड बायोगॅस स्लरी फॉर 12 hours increase the resistance of seedlings to pests and diseases. जर आपण पॅडी सीड्सला डायल्युटेड बायोगॅस स्लरीची ट्रीटमेंट दिली, these seeds are dipped in 12 hours for increase the resistance of seedlings to pests and diseases. Okay. Then about 30 kg of tamarind seeds are applied for the acre of paddy field first day after the transplanting to boost up the crop growth and yield. tamarind सीडची जर आपण 30 kg tamarind सीडची जर आपण ट्रीटमेंट दिली पर एकर पॅडी फील्डसाठी आफ्टर द ट्रान्सप्लांटिंग 1 day for the boost up the crop growth and increase the yield. Then soaking the paddy seeds in a diluted cow urines before the sowing, it reduces the incidence of leaf spot and rice blast. Then pre-soaking of paddy seeds in milk increase its resistance against the tongue virus and stunt virus. Control the red leaf spot diseases in a paddy. The seeds are soaked in a pudina leaf extract for 24 hours. Okay, this is all the indigenous knowledge. Then T-shaped bamboo stands are placed in many places on the field so that birds can sit on them and feed the larvae and adults of the rice paste. Then Dhencha is a green manure plant. These seeds are sown on paddy main field when the paddy nursery is raised, and the grow up dhencha is a plow in situ during the field preparation. The plow main field 4 to 6 times for better yield. Then the crop is transplanted during the October and November will get the reduce the yield. The rice crop will establish better if the transplanted along with the wind direction. Then the name is the Azadirachta indica oil cake extract is sprayed to control the thrips in a rice. Then another practice is the ship penning during the summer to get the more yield. So ship penning for the first season and green leaf manure for the second season for better yield. Apply 100 kg of pig manure for 1 acre of rice at 10 days after planting to get the higher yield. Then apply the neem seeds at the rate 40 kg per acre as a basil to get more yield as compared to the equal quantity of a neem cake. Irrigate the field, allow the wheat seeds to germinate and then plow. Okay, this is the traditional knowledge for a crop production of rice. The next crop is a maize. So maize seeds are soaked in a cow urine for 12 hours before sowing. Maize seeds are soaked in warm water for 3 to 6 hours and shed dry to induce the better germination and to control the shoot borer. Then maize is sown after the tomato in the same region and furrow to reduce the cost of land preparation. Then dried maize stalk are stacked as a heap on a stone slabs and covered with the paddy straw. These crops be stored for the more than a year and used as a cattle feed. The next crop is a pearl millet, is the bajra. So pearl millet seeds are mixed with the leaves of noichi, it's a Vitex negido, and then store. Pearl millet ear heads are spread circularly to 1 foot height and cattle threshold. When pearl millet seeds are immersed in a salt solution and the floaters and disease affected seeds are removed. Pearl millet seeds are pre-soaked in water overnight before sowing for early germination. Pearl millet nursery is grown on a raised bed for better seedling growth. Before the transplanting, seedling tips are clipped to remove the eggs of pest and white flies and to control tip blight diseases. Grow cowpea as an intercrop to control the leaf miner in a pearl millet. जर इंटरक्रॉपिंग आपण पर मिलेट सोबत काउपीज केली तर आपल्याला खूप सारं कंट्रोल भेटेल लीफ मायनरबद्दल. त्यानंतर स्टोरिंग द पर मिलेट सीड्स बाय मिक्सिंग विथ ॲश फॉर reduce the store grain pest attack. Then sorghum ear heads are sun dried for 2 days and stored without seed separation by building a storage structure called as a patarai. This structure is open and thrust when needed. Soak the sorghum seed in a common salt solution before the sowing to secure a good germination under the adverse condition. Soak sorghum seeds in a cow urine for half an hour and sun drying them before the sowing to control the head smut and induce the drop tolerance. जर आपण सॉर्गमचे सीड काऊ युरिनमध्ये हाफ ॲन आवरसाठी सोक केले त्यानंतर सन ड्राईड केली बिफोर सोईंगच्या अगोदर तर काय होईल कंट्रोल द हेड स्मट डिसीजेस अँड इंड्यूस द ड्रॉट टॉलरन्स. And to ensure the quick germination, sorghum seeds to avoid the shoot fly attack, enough water is boiled and kept in an open place through the night for cooling the next day morning prior to sowing. The sorghum seeds are immersed in cool water for some time and sown in the field which produce the better seedlings. Cowpea as an intercrop in a sorghum minimize the stem borer due to the repellent smell. So lab as an intercrop to reduce the stem borer damage in sorghum. Neem cake extract drop per drop on the sorghum shoot borer to control the shoot borer. Dusting the ash on the infected leaves of sorghum to prevent the pest incidence. Growing the coriander as a mixed crop in sorghum to control the parasitic weed like which weed is striga. Mixing the sorghum seed with ash to prevent the storage pest. Then finger millet and red gram. Finger millet is a long duration varieties are adopted in dry lands to avoid the rainy days coinciding with the help of harvesting stage. Finger millet seeds are treated with cow urine at 1:10 ratio to enhance the germination. When sample of dried finger millet grain is chewed, metallic sound indicates its dryness. And in red gram, spray the decoction of tobacco waste to control the sucking pest and caterpillars. Red gram seed are mixed with the red earth slurry and dried and stored to avoid the storage pest. ज्यावेळेस आपण रेड ग्रॅम हे रेड अर्थ स्लरीमध्ये मिक्स्ड करून ठेवतो ड्राय करून फॉर ॲटो स्टोरिंग फॉर और अवॉइड द स्टोरिंग पेस्ट. Castor seeds are fried, powdered and mixed with red gram seeds to reduce the pest attack during the storage. Next crop is the groundnut. Same cowpea grown as intercrop in a groundnut field act as a trap crop to control the red hairy caterpillar. Groundnut pods are threshed by spreading on the threshing floor and beating with wooden sticks. Kitchen ash is spread around the groundnut storage bag to prevent the insect attack. Sandy soil is highly suitable for a groundnut crop since it gives the less number of ill-filled pods. Grow cowpea as a border crop to attack the red hairy caterpillar. During the night, burning heaps of straw in several places near the fields, along with buckets full of water or castor cake dissolved water near the fire to attract the kill the insects, and the time solution to control the leaf roller. Spray water to control the leaf roller attack. Grow castor as a border crop. Reduce the tobacco cut form. Summer plowing is practiced to expose and destroy the pupa of the red hairy caterpillar pest. To control the groundnut ring mosaic, dried sorghum or coconut leaves and earth powder and boiled in water 60 degrees Celsius for 1 hour, and this water is filtered, diluted and spread for 2 times at a 10 to 20 days interval after sowing. Mixed neem oil with irrigation water during the second or third irrigation to prevent the root rot in groundnut. Then sunflower rubbing is a practice in sunflower, rubbing the nearby two flowers heads for better seed set. Application of cow dung before planting ensure the bigger size sunflower head. Next crop is a cotton. For delinting cotton seeds, the seeds with wet cow dung and dried for 30 minutes and then slightly rub against a stone and clean. Coating the cotton seeds with red soil and sun drying them before sowing to ensure the good germination and to make the dibbling easy. Mixed 1 kg of cotton seeds with 200 ml of neem oil and pasting it with fresh cow dung and then drying this overnight before sowing to avoid the pest. Applying the groundnut cake 3 times during the crop period to enhance the plant growth and ball reduction. Then growing the castor as intercrop or border crop to attract the tobacco cutworm. Maize and ladyfingers are also grown as intercrop to reduce the bollworm attack. About 600 gram of tobacco is soaked in water for 2 to 3 days, and this water is filtered and sprayed to control the white flies. Then sugar solution and neem oil are mixed with water and sprayed to control the mealybugs. Then dusting the ash on cotton leaves to control the aphid or thrips. Cultivating the sorghum per millet around the cotton field to prevent the white flies and phyllips. Kapas, lean plus seeds are picked up only during the morning hours to avoid the dust. Then sugarcane crop. Tank silt is applied before the planting of higher yield. Sugar content of cane is increased if ship penning is practiced or ship manure is applied. Detrashing the cans to control the scales and mealybugs. It is locally called as the sogai urethral. Providing the frequent irrigation to control the termites. Chula ash is applied 2 to 3 months after planting to control the early shoot borer. Neem kernels or neem cake are powdered, soaked in water overnight, and the filtrate is diluted and spread to control the early shoot borer. Then next point is the plant protection through the indigenous traditional knowledge. So plant protection आपण बघणार आहोत. Application of buttermilk at the rate of 5 liter per 40 kg seeds of pulses like a lentil, arhal, chickpea to protect the crops from the wilt diseases. Farmers broadcast the 8 kg common salt to protect the paddy crop from the blight diseases. Dry neem leaves and canza leaves are used by the farmers to store the grain like wheat and rice. Mixed cropping of arhar, jawar to protect the arhar from wilt diseases. Planting of marigold after 8 to 10 lines of tomato or chili to protect the crop from mosaic and nematodes. The farmers practice putting the twigs in field crops for setting of oil to control the rats. Mixed cropping like arhar, urid, tir, bajra is practiced. Spreading of cooked rice in field crop attract the birds. Okay. Hairy caterpillar. The farmers using to control the aphid spray. What is the mustard crop? Ash dusting is a practice in a Z vegetables to control the red beetles. Cutting off a upper portion of leaves before a transplanting of paddy to prevent the attack of stem borer. Then spray the extract of 1 kg garlic, 250 gram of tobacco, 250 gram of gur in 20 liter of water to control the Gandhi bug in a rice. Gandhi bug is a pest. Farmers practice mixed cropping of onion, sugarcane to control the shoot borer in sugarcane. Mixed cropping of coriander with gram and linseed with lentil control the pod borer and wilt respectively. Intercropping of groundnut with bajra controls the nematodes. Ash is used at the time of sowing of potato to minimize the soil-borne diseases. Extract of garlic 5 kg, tobacco 25 to 50 grams, and 500 grams of neem leaf is used by the farmers to control the yellow mosaic disease in vegetables. Then vegetable seeds are stored by mixing with sawdust of pine. Then intercropping of marigold control the nematodes in brinjal and tomato. So this is the plant protection through the indigenous traditional knowledge. और आपण अगोदर बघितले इंडिजिनस ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज क्रॉप वाईज प्लांट प्रोडक्शनसाठी. ओके, थँक्यू.